G'day everyone, Rach here from Rara's Realm. Welcome to this fortnight's stitchy lack of progress. I have not been a very good cross stitcher. My stitchy bug did disappear. It's kind of put a foot back in the door, but not brilliantly. So there isn't a lot to show. Yes, but I do have a slight bombshell to share after I show you what I've done. Hello to new subscribers. There are a few popping in now and again. I don't know if I've been mentioned again anywhere. If you've been directed by someone, please let me know so I can thank them. G'day to those returning. Hello to Stitchy Group girls. Jill, don't stick me on the big television. Jeepers creepers. Anyway, I will show you what I've done and I will share with you my bombshell. Right, let's get comfy. So, even if I told you what I was supposed to have been doing in the last fortnight, it didn't happen. So, anyway. The first thing I finally worked on was the very kindly borrowed chart Touching the Autumn Sky, and I am working, let me figure it out, up and around here, and I think my goal was to get this foot done. Piles. So this is where I'm at, and excuse my dangling threads, but I don't know how else to deal with all these teeny blocks of colour, but that is where we are at, which looks quite good on the screen. When I look at the shoe in person, I'm a bit like, meh, but looking at it there, it's not too bad. So the next shoe is down here, so everything above there and around this thing, that is all complete. There's nothing else to add around those areas other than one teeny tiny backstitch thread, which I will do eventually. So the next bit that I will have is her other shoe here, and then starting to bring the apron round to join up with the rest. So this part of the apron is complete. That is all complete up to about, up to here, I think. Is there a gap there? Yeah, there is. So up sort of about there all around, that is all done. There's nothing more to add. So that's a little achievement for me. Can I have any achievement? So I'm doing this on, with the called for DMCs on a 32 count blue ice Belfast linen. I don't know who the maker is. I just got it from 123 Stitch. So that is that. The next project I gave some time to was my Prairie Schooler, and this is Christmas samplers, and I'm doing the middle one the night before Christmas. And the last time you saw this, I've got the imagery at the top done, and I think I had got twas and t done. So what I have managed to do is finish and then I've got night before done as well. I've finished all the white up here, so I think there's a little bit of backstitch in here, but other than that, the whole top imagery is now done. So we have added a little bit more. And the other project I'm working on is I'm doing the Modern Folk Embroidery 2020 sale, and I am in here at the moment. Is that right? Yes. So I had got a little bit of this box started, I think, the last time you saw it. And now I have got everything that's on the page done for that box in the middle there that you can see. I've come along here as far as the page goes, so this one is not easy to hold up to see properly. So this is the end of page 2 here. So I've just gone over a little bit to get that crown done. So I'm now working on this crown here, and there's a little bit here. So I've only got a little bit of page 2 left to do. I think. Hang on. There we go. I can't see very well. So that is where we are at. So this is 36 count raw linen with presidential blue. That is all I have done. Right, Jill, put down your cup of tea. My bombshell. I've kind of decided to do something stitch mania-y. When I didn't stitch for a week and a half, I only picked up the stitching last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It must have been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because I didn't stitch yesterday, and the rest of those are 3 days of stitching. When I sat down and made myself do some stitching, I did Touching the Autumn Sky, and I did a lot more than I had thought I would do because I decided not to do anything else. I wasn't going to do what I was meant to do that day, and I didn't do the length of thread on the modern folk embroidery piece, which has been, if you remember, if you've been following along, I've been doing a length of thread on Touching the Autumn Sky, a length of thread on the modern folk embroidery cell, and then whatever I'm meant to do that day. On Thursday, when I decided if I don't stitch now, I'm going to have nothing, and am I going to just stop doing Flosstube? I was at that point. When I sat down and did the stitching for Touching the Autumn Sky, I didn't do the other 2 projects. I just did that, and I was really, what's the word, impressed is not the word, pleased with the amount that I was able to do, because it wasn't just one thread. And it made me think maybe I need to operate a little bit differently. And then I thought, well, tomorrow is May and there is Stitch Mania, so maybe what I could do is in May, no new starts, because remember, we're not starting anything new this year, we're just crossing some things off the list. What I could do is every day I work on my whips. I currently have 13 whips. So I thought over the course of a fortnight I would do my 13 whips, plus Touching the Autumn Sky would get an extra day, so that would give me 14. So that is my plan. My previous 4 days of a whip thing is out the window for May. And if I don't stitch, like yesterday I didn't stitch on Lucy Calcutt. That's it, she doesn't get another go now until she pops up again in 2 weeks' time. So we'll just see how that goes, how that sits in my brain. I'm obviously having problems with, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, stitching isn't the first thing I want to do at the moment, so nothing's grabbing me and making me want to do it. Except that once I then start, I enjoy what I'm doing. So I thought, I will do a modified Stitch Mania. I will just go mad and do one thing a day. No other bits and bobs, just the one thing that's meant to be on that day. And I'm going to film weekly in May, because by rights there should be 7 things to show you next week and every week until the first Monday in June. And then I'll reevaluate what I am doing. So there we go. And if this doesn't work, then it's highly likely that I might mothball my Flosstube channel for a while, because if I'm not stitching enough, I haven't got anything to show you, and I'm wasting your time for 5 minutes. So as my friend Jill at Stitchy Group said, she put me on the big screen in the living room, she blinked and I was finished. I don't think it was quite that bad, Jill. But anyway, so that is what I'm going to do. Should hopefully next week have 7 things to show you, and it will be next week. And we'll just see what we do. And maybe I just need to change my rotation and how I'm doing things. I think part of what's going on is I don't want to abuse the fact that I'm borrowing an out-of-print chart. And I know Susan is fine. But in my head, I'm like, I've had this long enough, it needs to be done. And that's why I've been trying to do a thread a day. But then it's, okay, well, I've done that thread and now I've got to do the thread on the other thing. And then I've got to, and I think I've complicated things too much for myself. So we'll pare it back, we'll see how we go in May, and then we will take a view from there. So that is it. I have, on the stash haul side, I have let Teresa at Kitten Stitcher know that it should be right to send now, and the last time I checked, that parcel had left Miami, which that was sometime over the weekend. So I'd like to hope, maybe not next week, but maybe the week after, I can show you some stash. And but I haven't ordered any other things at this point in time. I don't think I will. There were some things that I really wanted that I didn't want to miss out on. Other things that I'd like, I know won't disappear, like the Kringles, Little House Needleworks. I'd like Kringles, but I know that that's not going to disappear anytime soon, so I don't have to bust a gut to get that. So that is me. I have managed to waffle for 11 minutes, showing you very little, and yeah, that's it. I will see you next week with the, hopefully, 7 things. We will see how that goes. Have a good stitchy week. If you're doing Stitch Mania, have fun, and I will catch you next week. Bye for now.